After watching this video and implementing the 3 tips I will unveil in it, every air-to-ground asset on any server will be paralyzed with fear whenever they hear that hot Viper flying inbound. This video is not just relevant to the Viper, it is relevant to every single modern DCS world fighter. So you Hornet fanboys, you're covered, you F-14 fanboys, you're covered, A-10, you're all covered. The first tip, while seeming simple, is a mistake that I see so many new pilots make, and it's the reason they can't find anything when using the targeting pod, and shortly after gets them shot out of the sky by a sneaky little manpad. West, you might ask, what am I doing to cause this? How can I end my suffering loop of takeoff, search for target, and get shot down? Well, you are likely way too close to the objective and trying to use your targeting pod, which means it will be super zoomed in and you're getting shot down because you're literally moving meters at a time on the ground in the targeting pod and you won't find anything and the Strela will shoot you down before you even see it. There are 2 solutions to this common mistake. 1, on your way to the target area, start using the targeting pod to search the area at about 40 nautical miles away depending on visibility conditions. If there are mountains in your way, just increase altitude until you can see the target. The other solution is if you've already flown to the target area and you're on top of the target area and just can't find anything, extend, fly 20 to 35, 45 nautical miles away, turn back in at a slight offset to the target to give yourself more time to use that targeting pod, and I promise you, you will start finding things. The second tip I have for you might seem counterintuitive, but just stop relying on your targeting pod. You have a HMD, or a JHAMX if you're in the A10. If you see a SAM launch with your Mark 1 eyeballs, instead of slewing and slewing and slewing your targeting pod towards it, and then maybe getting your targeting pod to look at it in time, all you can do, if you've got that HMD, F-16 can do it, F-18, A-10, every aircraft has this possibility. I will showcase how to do it in the F-16, and just use your JHAMX to look with your eyes at the target, and slew everything, all of your sensors straight to it. What we're going to do is we're going to hit 7 to go to mark point, make sure HUD is selected. To change you can hit the sequence on the dopper. And just because we probably should, we'll go pre-mode and we'll go targeting pod in auto. Just what we're going to do. So I'm going to hold TMS up for a couple seconds, like so, and it will select. Now, well, I think there might be stuff going on over there. So I'm going to have a look. I'm going to press TMS up once and then twice to confirm those coordinates, and you'll see the coordinates are now populated. So we can hit M select to slew our targeting pod to that point. And let's have a gaze in this area. What's going on? Oh, that looks like a Strela. So I can get a point track on him. And what then I'm going to do. So let's go on the point and just hit TMS up here, and oh, there we go, it's looking. I'm going to TMS down there to get it to look, and I can just hit rifle. So the last method was mark points using the mark point button. So that is essentially creating a steer point on the point you are looking at, and then you can just select that steer point, slew your sensors to it, and start dropping bombs. Which is great for JDAMs, GBU-12 attacks, and the AGM-65s in pre-mode. But some of these weapons, like the AGM-65, have an inbuilt visual mode as indicated by the VIS. So if my HUD is soy, which it is by that indicated by the star in the top left, and I look outside with my helmet mounted device on and I hold TMS for about 1 second, we'll get this little green box. So we got this little green box. I'm going to fly and place it right where I know those bad guys are and slew everything over to it. Now you will definitely want TMS up and down, both binded for these sort of attacks, because if you don't lock what you're trying to lock, you're going to have an interesting time. So let's try and there we go. Oh, not quite. There we go, that's a good lock. So we're going to turn in, and we're going to fire one of these Mavericks off. And we're going to use TMS up to look back at our HUD. Well, we've probably got a missile coming out of us right now, so TMS down. Oh, yep, there was definitely a missile. I went TMS down, so I can slew that over there, and oh look, we have another hit. P90 Gornskis. My last tip is extremely important in not wasting countermeasures. In the Viper, there is only one button. There isn't a distinctive chaff or flare button. It's just a countermeasures release button. So if you want to be releasing a certain amount of countermeasures, you're going to have to bind the switches. As you can see in this example, I turn off my chaff and turn on my flares to only dispense the flares for that IR threat. And then I turn on the chaff afterwards. I have these bound to my Z and X key. Z for chaff, X for flares. Quite a nifty trick to know. Thank you for sticking around to the end of this tutorial. I hope these 3 tips were very useful to you, and just start practicing implementing them, and I guarantee you every single ground asset will fear you. TacticalWest out.